Good evening and greetings to all of you. Welcome to Head to Toe with Dr. T. Enkosi ngoba nathi kuMpuma Kaba TV. Siphethe impilo usukela enhloko eJelizwaneni sihlele enhloko ikakhulu namhlanje with one of the top psychiatrists. He may look young but he's got all the gist of the things that you would like to know. I-Cancer Month October. Inyanga siqala sayangayo imihlaza ngakumbi umhlaza webele but sayivela kule angle ntoba ngokwasengqondweni ngokwemeko yempilo ngqondo, that is mental health, ikuchaphazela njani into diagnoswa into ba hayi wena uthe kanti unomhlaza webele, uthe kanti unomhlaza wendawo ethile, then zintoni eziye zenzeke kuwe after getting that diagnosis. And there's no other person who can take us through what happens to your mind in terms of psychiatry. Dr. Libo Machaya is a specialist psychiatrist privately upper at Gqeberha. Doc, let me welcome you and actually thank you for your valuable time. I know you are very busy. It's a privilege for me to have a moment with you like this. Thank you for the benefit of our viewers. Kindly greet our viewers and then
yes,
we get going.
Good evening to you, Dr. T, and to your beautiful and loyal viewers at home. It's actually a World Mental Health Day today.
Perfect.
So it's
That's
perfect.
why you are here.
And maybe this is our call.
Yeah.
Because it's also, October is also a World Mental Health Month in general.
Yes.
But this is the day where
10th of October.
Yes.
That's why you are
Yes.
relevantly here. Can you just deliver a message to all South Africans who are watching us in terms of mental health? Why are we putting so much emphasis on mental health these days?
Sure. Dr. Tebza, I hear a lot of people referring to mental health as a silent pandemic, you know, and I understand where they're coming from. You know, when you think in Dokbana, today we are calling mental health in the workspace.
Yes.
And CCT, 1 in 5 employees kuyo yonke indawo is affected in mental health, or 80% do not consult. They would rather suffer in silence, you know, because of fear of being discriminated, you know, stigmatization of mental health, you know, and a lot of problems that mental health is still facing. People don't get the same privileges in terms of sick leave and whatnot because it's mental health. So it is important that we create awareness that people know Uguti. Mental health, there's no separating the body and the mind. You understand? World Health Organization, when they define health, they include mental health.
Okay.
So there's no health without mental health, you know. And mental health is not necessarily mental illness, which is another misconception out there. I was wearing a T-shirt at Mental Health Matters. And somebody said, yo, intoni ngokwenqaki zethu uzibhale esifubeni. And ndithi kuye intoni mental health.
Impilo ngqondo.
You understand? Because exactly,
Yes.
impilo ngqondo. Dithetha ngempilo, you know. And xa udefine mental health, you know, akuthethwa nga-psychosis per se. Yes, it is part of the illnesses that we deal with. But mental health is what we are trying to promote. You know, it deals with awareness. It deals with being aware of your abilities, your ability to cope with day-to-day stressors. You know, and question is, are we able to do that? And it also talks about contribution to that's definition of mental health. You know, ability to adapt and all of those things. And most of us are actually struggling with those. You know, a lot of things get influenced. That a lot of, you know, individual factors, environmental factors. That's a topic for another day. I don't want to.
Adaptation. We are actually sitting there today.
Okay.
Sinethemba lento ba enye into xa kuthiwa ugula uye ku-psychiatrist okanye uye ku-psychologist ngathi uyaphambana, awukwazi uzilawula, awukwazi ulanduka, wohlulakele.
Sure.
So that's another thing. It's good that you're actually putting these things in order. Into ba xa uyokwenza i-check up yeswekile kufana ne-mind ifuna ukwenziwa loo nto leyo.
Sure.
Nabo abantu bethu umuntu ufumana i-diagnosis yomhlaza webele. The young woman or the young men, but predominantly it's women.
Sure.
Fumana i-diagnosis yomhlaza webele. Mhlambi uzawuxelelwa i-stage ke, mhlambi uzawufuneka susibele, mhlambi uzawufuneka aye for i-radiation, mhlambi uzawufuneka aye for i-chemo, zonke ezazinto. What happens? Kwenzeka ntoni engqondweni xa ufumana i-diagnosis that threatens
Sure.
ubomi bakho?
Sure. But I will say that again, because ndiyabathanda abantu, ndiyathetha nabantu, abantu ke ubava besithi ndikhetha kwayinto ethile kune-cancer, ndikhetha kwayinto ethile kune-cancer. So masingayiphosisi sithi akukho mntu ungayoyikiyo. You know, masiqale sivalidate apho kuqala ukwenzela uba siyazi ukuthi awukwazi uba you get diagnosed with a life-changing, you know, disease, and kungabikho shift eyenzekayo kuwe emotionally, you know. So there is a normal a psychological response to that, you know, and it's all about ukuthi, is it going to be prolonged, this psychological state, and the severity, and how it's going to impact on the diagnosis of cancer. That will determine if uzaba ne-diagnosis independent, you know. But as part of the reaction, you know, people may react and there's shock, you know, for obvious reasons, you know. There's denial as well. You know, we have been called to assist or to talk to people that just won't go for any kind of treatment, you know, because kuvele kwatshona ilanga and akabona kwa inidi leyo kuzama umuntu. So there's anger as well, you know, anger towards self, you know, which is why it's important that we start with basics and say that this can never be your fault. This has got nothing with your doing, and this has got nothing to do with uba ubomi bakho buphile kangakanani. Ayikho whatever that you believe in engakupanisha ngolhlobo, you know. Ndiyajeziswa nguThixo, you know. Those are misconceptions out there, you know. The sadness, you know, you become more teary than usual, and also the feelings of loss. That there's multiple layers when it comes to loss. There's loss of identity. You know, it feels like the person you have known your entire life for akakho uphungukene naye. There is a struggle. Exactly. There's a struggle to connect with the new me, the new self. You know, and at the same time, xa uvuka qho kukhona into apha emzimbeni ethi ndikhona. You know, so lo new you know, so it creates a conflict in the mind. There's also loss of sense of purpose, you know, because depending on the stage and depending noguti EP, you know, some people, you know, they get worried that the things that, you know, they were doing, you know, whether ngumsebenzi okanye uba independent or all of a sudden they are not going to play those roles. So that's loss as well.
Roles, Dr. Machaya. We're going to take a short break. Mbukeli wethu ungalibali siyafumaneka ku Free Vision. Ungasibukela efonini yakho, ungasibukela TV yakho ku channel 260 Free Vision mode. You can always watch the show live as we're talking to you. We're speaking mental health. It's Mental Health Day, but we're coming from the angle of cancer, particularly breast cancer, because those are the two major topics in October, and they affect us. How do we cope? How do we take the diagnosis? Xa kuthiwa uyothatha results ufika kusithiwa hayi unomhlaza webele, kwenzeka ntoni engqondweni wakho? The psychiatrist Dr. Machaya is taking us through that. Stick to your TV and then we shall journey together. Welcome back, Dr. Tebelele. We had to talk with Umakaba TV. Ndihleli no Dr. Machaya, specialist psychiatrist. Wakwayiva into yoba uxelelwe into yoba une-diagnosis, le diagnosis i-results zakho zibonakala unomhlaza. Then kwenzeka ntoni engqondweni yakho? How do you process le diagnosis intsha? And abanye abantu ke xa sele beyifumene exelele into yoba kuza kwenzeka lento nalento nalento. What happens to your mental health? Ingqondo yakho, impilo ngqondo yakho navigate njani lento? Sijonga from that angle, because today is Mental Health Day. Sinqwenelela ingqondo nengcingane ephilileyo, nendlela yokwamkela, nendlela yoprocessa izinto that you may actually fear in life, noba ukweyiphi na level. Dr. Machaya, thank you so much. Then nanku lo muntu wethu usahamba naye kakuhle.
Sure.
Fumene diagnosis.
Sure.
Uthethe ngefear, wathetha nge
Sure. I think also
ukwahlukana komzimba nalo muntu.
Sure. I think enye into that is important to highlight is that by nature anxiety negatively affects how we think. You know, there's what is called the probability error of thinking that is associated with anxiety, where anxiety will make you overestimate the chances of a disaster happening. Now,
okay,
yeah, so uthi kusithwa diagnosis ube ingqondo isithi ukufa, and now ikwenze lonto ungaphili uphila.
all right.
It feels like your life has been cut short while you're still alive. Now,
sifa singekafi.
injalo mkhulu wami, and remember that part of le battle with the cancer mindset. You know, so londo iyodwa iyasichana kakhulu. You know, you become so irrational in terms of your thoughts, you know, where your thoughts will be very much influenced by by past experiences. You had umzali that you were taking care of Owainalendo, and this is how the cancer progressed. You already see yourself, you know, taking the same route, you know.
They come back to haunt.
You associate yonke ipain yonke into ona emzimbeni ukuthi ayike ifikile kwiliver ayifikile pha, you know, because ingqondweni ingathi awusenaba nako ukugula okufana nonye umuntu, you know. So that is another thing with anxiety. So I just wanted to highlight that as well. And also when uzibona ngolo hlobo, you will see yourself in the worst scenario ever. So if at all ifikile apha, then mna kukufa kum. You know, you don't see or you minimize the resources that are still there for you into yokubana ungqambaze.
And there's a lot that is done for cancer these days.
Yeah. So yeyona nto ibalulekileyo loo nto into yokubana try to challenge. It's not easy, but it is doable. You know, try or get somebody to help you ukwazi to challenge these irrational thoughts and ngazo, you know, and try to get yourself to be in the now. You know, to process things based on facts and evidence, you know, but mani ndiyayicinga le nto uba it could be a lung or whatever. Okay, but the facts are that bendile ku Dr. Tebelele wayenza x-ray ithi, you know. So that is very important that you have facts, you equip yourself about the cancer itself, you know.
Without moving away from the breast, we've got a problem. A man gets diagnosed of testicular cancer,
sure,
and then ukwafuneka lisuse lijongolo because lizawuchaphazela, and then the cancer can spread to other areas. Then ufumanisa indoda iya-refuser. I-loss yelungu elithile lomzimba ndizana sebeleni ke ngoku. When a woman kufuneka enze i-mastectomy, there's a lot of things as processayo.
Sure.
It's affecta njani engqondweni le nto ususa ipart ethile yomzimba usaphila?
Sure. You see, Butebza, there's different ways of looking at this, but I'm probably going to choose one as specific to the examples that you made. You know, these private parts or tetangazo, the male and female, culture, hence in psychiatry, we look at the cultural factors. Iyenzeka kakhulu into yokubana ibhongo, part of ibhongo lomfana loba ngumfana ibe sekupheleleni kwezinto azaziyo ezenza abe yindoda ngokwe culture. So when you diagnose yena lo bhuti with a problem there, it feels like umphatha kwibhongo lobudoda bakhe.
Okay.
It feels like uthatha lento azenza athi xa ichama amane sijonga enquma, you know, uthatha ubuyena, you know. Exactly, you know, abantu abangosisi, you know, hence ubona zama you know,
abanye bayakhulisa abanye bayawanciphisa.
Yes,
there's a lot.
There's just a lot of pride that comes with what is happening to these sensitive parts that you have mentioned. So it becomes a loss, it feels like a loss of many things.
Okay.
Remember that it touches on the identity, and also it touches on the identity, it touches on the future, because umuntu vele angaziboni efikelele senza into ezithile angathi nakakabi nazo ne-effects, but angaziboni nabantwana angaziboni etheni, you know, already akakwazi uba on the now and get the facts kwangoku.
Now yonke
Yeah,
le nto ayiqoqosha.
yeah.
Negative approach to ilantuka i-future.
Yeah, but
Will
at
I
the
be
same time,
attractive?
there's still a stage qala ozawuqala kuzo wethuke uthini.
Okay.
But ungahlali apho because kusafuneka uphilile. Kusafuneka uyozama ukuphila. Kusafuneka uba ukhangela into yobana how do I redefine myself? You know, where do I find identity? Xa ndifika ndizibona ndiphelelanga na apha. Uyayibona isadinga wena yonke loo nto leyo. Akakho into uzakwenzela. Unfortunately, and the longer uhlala kwesi stage sokulwa nale reality,
Yes.
you know, kungona izawuye isanda yona, you know. So at some point you need to look at what is it that is still under my control in this situation that is out of my control.
Ingaba ipart ye-denial ke ngoku leyo uba mhlawumbi athi umntu hayi apha gqirha bayaphosisa ababoni yona zange kwabakho umntu una-cancer apha and so on. Then umntu ke ngathethe aphele hamba ezinye ii-channels ibe i-cancer inaba.
Yeah. Look, Doc, ndiye ndithi ebantwini kum endisebenza nabo ndithi izawuthini i-time frame yethu. You know, yes, I understand it's part of the normal response to want to have a second opinion,
yes.
You know, before you can agree to whatever procedure, because that procedure on its own is life-changing,
yes.
You know. But ndinexhala lokubana ndinabantu ohamba aye eKapa ayifuna ingasebenzi eKapa ahamba bheke eGoli ahamba aye overseas. So masiyazi kwangoku into yobana emva kweyiphi siza kuthi hayi ngoku masi-accept the sad reality.
Let's accept the sad reality. Masamkele obububi bunjengoba bububi sijonge into yoba what quality of life do we have ahead of this thing? Then let's take a short break, Ben. We're going to look into, some people can go and live life of destruction out of not accepting the new reality. We're going to look into that. Mbukeli wethu ungahambi kwinyanga yempilo ngqondo namhlanje siphethe i-mental health day, but sijonga xa unofumana i-diagnosis yomhlaza webele noba ngophi nomhlaza okanye a dreaded illness or a terminal illness, how do you cope with that? How does your mind, ingqondo yakho ithini kuwe, kuye kwenzeke ntoni? How do you process? How do you live after such a diagnosis? Through the eyes and ears of our specialist psychiatrist, Dr. Lebo Machaya. Stick to your screen. We'll be back. Back head to toe with Dr. T. We're talking mental health, impact of cancer, diagnosis of cancer engqondweni kwimpilo ngqondo yakho ithini na? Through the eyes of Dr. Machaya, our resident psychiatrist. Life of destruction after diagnosis.
Sure.
Can you take us through that? What's happening with our minds when people, after getting such a fearful or dreaded diagnosis, uthi awune cancer, funeka ususe lo mlenze, funeka ususe libele, kufuneka uthi.
Sure. You know, it starts with Lenduguti, it feels like I don't know who I am anymore. It feels like I am losing control of who I am, of the person that I have known my entire life. That disconnect ile ibangela into kuba mandiyokhangela izinto ukuvala lento ndicinga bafana ba ndiphuncuke nayo, and also to self-medicate also, you know, that people they look for inzinto ezawubenza bayehlise le anxiety besetha ngayo, into ezandenza ndilale ndithini. And unfortunately ezo zinto umzekelo, if we talk about alcohol is a depressant itself.
Yes.
We already knowing. We already knowing, Hotman, that 1 in 3 people with cancer, you know, that will have depression and anxiety, you know, and 43% of depression in caregivers as well. So now I already have.
So no caregivers.
Yes, that's another thing that kuza kufuneka touch if it clashes now. So already unale risk unayo. And there is an ongoing inflammatory process ehamba nale cancer, and depression, you know, has been proven to be a chronic inflammatory state. So there are a lot of issues that I can mention as going on. So when you take substances or you are edisha in the many problems that you still have not dealt with, you are postponing dealing with reality, you know. And ileno ndithi Khotman, if ndiyabizwa kuthiwa hey kukhona le patient ilapha ufike apho une liver problems medical ward and siyazitreata ustaple ngoku sifuna ukuthi take over alcohol because sifuna sibe alcohol ithini andifiki ndibulise an alcoholic,
sure,
you know, because ndiye ndihloniphe into yokubana mhlawumbi kukhona into endingayazi, you know, and you try to get to connect with umntu phayana. Okay. So that azokwazi uvula inhliziyo about the reason behind the substance use, you know. And Khotman, you'll be shocked iba zingaphi izinto esizibalekayo ezitshintshe ubomi bethu sisithi sinesithukuthezi, you know.
Kweso sithukuthezi, let me take you further, in the interest of time. Then sure. You are told into yoba we've done everything now.
Yeah.
We've done everything.
Sure.
There's nothing else that we can do.
Sure.
How do we cope with such words and with such, when we reach the cul-de-sac?
Sure.
Ke ngoku sigqibile cancer yakho ayirespondi, siyasonga ngokwentambo sakunika nje ukutya and so on.
Sure.
Coping mechanisms.
Yes. You see, kweso stage awukwazi ufika umuntu uthi be positive. No, you cannot say that. You know, you still have to give supportive therapy, like remain realistic ngale meko akuyo, you know, and give an ongoing emotional support. Help this person akwazi to take things as they come.
Okay.
You know, because if ngaba kuthiwa ndikhe ndiva abantu athi kuthiwe mna ndine 6 months, emva kwa 6 months ndiyahamba, you know, and uthi kwathiwa bangapha abantu abahambe ko 6 months athi ke nake kuthiwe ngu-95% bayahamba in 6 months. Ndithi sazi kanjani uba ukho kula 5%?
Yes.
Yeah, because if awukho ukula 5% uzazibona wena uhamba every day. And ude ukhohlwe nento yoba zikhona izinto zakho that kusafuneka uzenzile, you know. Get yourself organized, do the things that you can.
Yes.
You understand that if it happens, then izinto ezithile, but work on the mind state so that ungabhubhi ungekabhubhi.
Sure.
You know, you still have to show up for appointments, you still have to work on your psychological well-being as well.
That's a nice one.
Yeah. Caregivers.
That's caregivers. Just one sentence on caregivers.
Yeah, caregivers.
That is us.
Yeah. No. It's
relatives.
And
relatives. People are looking after
it's
this person.
It's a stress because but bona bene shock, bene depression. Bene shock bethuswe yile nto yokubana yale diagnosis kube kufuneke assume I role yokubana kumzali lo mntwana kumzali ongakwazi uzenzela nto. So kubalekile if you are taking care of someone with kidney failure, with cancer, all these, you know, illnesses esithetha ngazo, take care of yourself, consult, you know, awukhange upreparishwe for lento, ubomi butshintshe ngesaquphe, get support, you know, because uzawukhongozela a lot of emotions kulo muntu unjani wena kodwa.
Thank you so much. Don't die before uthi die. Ungaziyekeli uba ufe lingakafiki ixesha loba ufe. You can still live positively. Take each day as it comes. Uthi ugqirha and still honor your appointments, do everything that you're supposed to do and plan. Ungashiyi izinto zidlaka-dlaka. Uyayibona mos intambo iyasongwa, but ukusongwa kwayo uxhomeka ngakuwe. But when I do everything to preserve your life. I-diagnosis of cancer doesn't mean you're going to die tomorrow. Nobody can tell you we've got 10 days to live. Ayikho loo nto leyo. Thank you so much for being with us. Don't forget to follow us, Pomakaba TV. Every Thursday we are live on TV. We shall continue and wrap up. October is cancer and mental health. Don't forget to follow us on all socials. Pomakaba TV on Facebook, on TikTok, on Twitter, and then Free Vision Mode at the palm of your hand. You can always watch us live. Nobuphi na usadinga TV ngamisa imoto uvula ifone yakho, we are live. Check Apile Communications on Facebook. We are also giving you all the information about our shows there. Hlala uphilile engqondweni, emzimbeni nasemoyeni. Especially now that we are focusing on mental health. If unomhlaza noba ngawuphi na, particularly with breast, don't forget to go for self-examination and then follow up with everything that you're supposed to do, mammograms and everything. See you next time.